Jacinda Ardern will be cheering on the All Blacks in their World Cup opener tonight as the New Zealand Prime Minister wraps up her visit to Japan. Let's go live now to New Zealand correspondent Jackson Williams, who is in Tokyo. Jackson, one of the All Blacks has given Jacinda Ardern some very personal advice.
Danica, Sonny Bill Williams directly telling Jacinda Ardern to have more children. Certainly not an area of conversation the Prime Minister would have been expecting to come up as she met some All Blacks players at a training session here in Tokyo yesterday afternoon ahead of the All Blacks World Cup opening match taking place here in New Zealand tonight. Sonny Bill Williams posted a photo of the pair on Instagram saying it was nice having Jacinda Ardern at training, but even better having a yarn about her having more children. The Prime Minister clarified their conversation a short time ago.
Talking very briefly with Sonny Bill about the preparation, and he changed the conversation quite quickly. So, yeah, look, he was trying to encourage us to expand our family. I was just encouraging him to win the game.
Now, Danica, there has been a much more serious side to this trip. Jacinda Ardern in Tokyo for 5 days. She held bilateral talks with her Japanese counterpart, Shinzo Abe, discussing ways to deepen trade ties between the two nations. Also, it's very clear that Japan and New Zealand want to work closer together in the Pacific, Danica, against the backdrop of China's growing influence in the region.
No doubt about it. And Jackson, Jacinda Ardern will fly to New York tomorrow, where she'll hold her first formal meeting with Donald Trump.
Jacinda Ardern and the US President have met before. They've also spoken on the phone, but this will be their first formal sit-down bilateral meeting. Jacinda Ardern was asked today whether the Christchurch call would be discussed. It's a pledge that has been signed by more than 20 countries, not the United States, as well as all major tech companies. Its aim is to essentially eliminate the spread and sharing of extremist and other violent material on social media platforms. Here was the Prime Minister responding to that question.
There'll be a number of agenda items I'll be raising, and not unlikely that they will come up. Of course, America has been involved in the work around the Christchurch call, even if they haven't formally signed. They've even put out statements of support. So no issue there in having that conversation, because we've had a good relationship with the US and its development.
Danica, the United States is not a signatory to the Christchurch call, but I have been told that the country has been heavily involved behind the scenes. One of 4 countries doing the bulk of work, with the US leading a lot of the dialogue behind the scenes. So the Prime Minister says there'll be a number of issues discussed in her 20-minute bilateral meeting with the US President. New Zealand's opposition leader says that the Prime Minister should raise the issue of climate change with Donald Trump. He says if the Prime Minister takes the issue of climate change as seriously as she suggests publicly, then that's an issue that needs to be raised. The Prime Minister, though, not confirming if it is an issue that will be discussed. She says she only has a short amount of time, and it's not appropriate for her, or it's not necessary to discuss every agenda item ahead of the meeting, Danica.